MLB 2022 National League Central 5-minute preview.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. This is episode 5 of our 2022 season preview for the MLB. We're going to do the National League Central. We're going to start from the worst to first. And of course, that's going to start us off with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's been a rough little stretch for Pittsburgh this year. They're projected 65.5 wins. Last year, 61 wins. Again, they're pretty much expected to be the bottom of the NL Central, and you can't really look too far past their lineup. It's quite weak. Taking a look at their projected batting order, Brian Reynolds, pretty much the only name of here that has struck any fear as of late. Last year, he had a pretty good season. Brian Hayes, their third baseman, had his rookie campaign last year. Started off all right. He's never really expected to be the batter. It's more of a defensive guy, but he will obviously, hopefully, bring some offense to the Pirates this season. In the upcoming starters for the Pirates, they have a long way to go. Quintana comes in, who came off one of his worst seasons in a long time. The depth just isn't there, and really, Jonathan Brubaker is the only name that comes back, and he's never been consistent for this team. Pirates very likely in for another long season in what is shaped up to be the worst division in baseball. Projected fourth in the Central, we have the Cincinnati Reds, projected 74.5 wins, coming off a 83-win season. But the story for them last year is a lot more than that. Heading into the last month of the season, they had a spot in that second wild card, and it just completely fell off the rails for them. They went 12-20 down the stretch, while the Cardinals had a 17-game win streak over that same time. It's been a little bit of a fall, and looking at their projected this season, they're going to be taking a step back. Their lineup consists of a lot of guys missing that they traded off in the offseason. Castellanos opted out. After that, it was said that they're going to align their payroll with their resources. So we quickly saw Winker get traded out, Suarez get traded out, and they brought their payroll, I guess, more into line with the resources that they have. Moustakas going to be a big guy in there with Votto coming back. Jonathan India, rookie season last year, he looked pretty good. They're hoping he can be a staple in the top of this lineup. On the starter side, they lost Sonny Gray, Tyler Mahle leading the way. Vladimir Gutierrez, he's back, but the other three names to me, they don't even stand out. I don't even really know what to expect from this team. Other than fourth makes a lot of sense in this division. They are very likely going to have trouble making the playoffs, and honestly, they're going to be battling with the Pirates and this next team the rest of the season. Next up, finishing third, we have the Chicago Cubs, 75.5 wins projected, 71 wins last season. Last season, we really saw the end of the Cubs as we have come to know and love them over the past 5 years or so. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, both out. Kyle Schwarber found his way out of there as well. They really ended up selling off a lot, and down the stretch, we saw what the future Cubs are going to look like. Frank the Tank Schwindler was involved. Ian Happ, Jason Hayward is back. Patrick Wisdom had a monster start at third base, taking over for Bryant after he left. And really, it's it looks like a sewn together kind of roster. Don't expect a lot to get them. Seiya Suzuki coming over from Japan is going to be a good guy to keep an eye on. They did make some addressing in the starting pitching. They brought in Marcus Stroman, Drew Smyly, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a battle between Steele, Brault, and Mills to see who's going to take down some of those other spots. In the meantime, they're still waiting on some injuries. Wade Miley, who is cemented a role probably in the starters, is currently dealing with a DL stint. David Bodie, shoulder surgery. He'll be back at some point. And they also brought in some depth in Jonathan Villar and Andreas Simmons. So the Cubs, well, their rebuild might be a little bit quicker than the two teams below them to be more competitive, thanks to some of the trades they made last season. They are 1 game ahead of the Reds in projected, and I would suspect that they should finish ahead of the Pirates as well. Coming up in second in the National League Central, we have the St. Louis Cardinals. 84.5 wins projected, 90 wins last season. A lot of that coming in September on that 17-game win streak I had talked about already. They scooped up a wild card spot last season in which they lost to the Dodgers 3-1 in a walk-off fashion. Sure, we all remember that. But for this season, it's high pressure situation for St. Louis as they bring in a new manager and a lot of the same returning guys to their lineup. They expect probably the same result or better. I think it's postseason or bust. Tommy Edman leading the way, Goldschmidt, Arenado, all staples in this lineup. O'Neill, Carlson, Molina, Bader, all coming back from last season. Corey Dickerson adding in there for some extra punch now that the DH is available. The big problem for the Cardinals comes with their starters. Adam Wainwright is going to be leading the way, but as his age goes on, we're not sure whether he can maintain such the career he's had. It's eventually going to come down. Mikolas had a history of injuries. We got Steven Matz coming in. Same kind of history of injuries, but also inconsistency is a big part of Matz. We got Hudson and Verhagen holding down the bottom end of this, and it's a lot to try to fill the hole that Jack Flaherty has left behind because right now he's still dealing with that shoulder injury. So the rotation was not something the Cardinals addressed, but they probably should have, and now they're going to have to deal with Flaherty out, so that's going to be their biggest weakness. One thing to look forward to is Nolan Gorman, number 17 prospect in the MLB, potentially going to be making his way into this lineup at some point in the near future. Last but not least, we have the Milwaukee Brewers leading the way in the division with 88.5 projected wins, coming down from last year's 95. While coming backwards, they're still expected to win the division. They're still expected to be the better team in the division, and a lot of that has to do with David Stearns, the baseball president, who has been a target of the Mets lately and could be his last season with the Brewers. If the Brewers head to the World Series, his contract would expire. If they do not, they still have one more year with him. So they're going to try and take advantage of him as much as they can. Taking a look at their lineup, this is the largest payroll the Brewers have had in franchise history, so they're expecting to make some splash. Christian Yelich, the big question mark around here, whether he can improve from last season. A lot of people would say he was crap last year, but really he was just an average baseball player, but that's not what they pay him for. They need him to take a step forward if he is going to do anything with this team. 2028 is what they have him locked up for, so only time will tell. Dames, Tellez, Renfroe, all power at the bottom. They still have Lorenzo Cain, Andrew McCutchen in there, and Colton Wong. The lineup has its potential, but for this team, it's always been starters, and in the division they are in, Corbin Burns and Woodruff have been lights out, and they probably will continue to be as they match up against these other central teams. For the Brewers, it's playoffs only. Anything else is going to be a complete disappointment. Anything but winning this division is going to be a complete disappointment. So the Brewers, they're going to try and take a step forward and get out of that first round after they were knocked out by the Braves this past season.
There you have it, guys. The NL Central Division in a quick summary, whatever you want to call it. For me, this division 1 through 5 pretty much agree with what we just went over there. But I think there is a deeper story with this division. It is the weakest division projected in all of baseball. Makes a lot of sense. We got the Pirates, Reds, and Cubs, all pretty much bottom dwellers rebuilding. But I think deep down, this is a big season for all three of those teams because they're either going to be destined to be in the bottom probably for the next couple of years, or they're going to be heading up. There's not enough room at the top for all three of those teams, but one of them has got to make a step forward, and right now it's the Cubs, really, who did all those trades in the last season to really prep for this year. Whether it works off and gets them a little bit ahead of the Pirates and Reds, we'll see. In the meantime, we got the Brewers and Cardinals fighting for the top of this division. Brewers have been dominant in this division for a couple of years now, but this is their window. It's getting closed rather quickly, so the Brewers have to take advantage, whereas Cardinals still got a number of years left, bringing in Arenado and all that. But the pitching rotation, that's a lot of question marks in this division. Really, honestly, anyone could win it. I'm saying that now, anybody, because it's up in the air. A couple injuries to the Brewers rotation, and they're in trouble. A couple injuries to the Cardinals offense are in trouble, and one of those teams could sneak up and behind. Who knows? This is honestly, even though it's the worst division, probably one of the more exciting ones, and how close it might be across the board. Guys, thanks for watching. This was the 5th division series. We got one more coming up. It'll be out in the next couple days. We've got preseason power rankings, and then the season is here. So look forward to all you guys hanging along for the ride. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, smash, join the Discord, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys out there for that next video episode.